The question I have about this actually is, to what extent are these things going to be not mutually exclusive? So you could picture a world where there's smart devices, the things with screens, right? Your phone, your tablet, your laptop, your TV. Those are the big processor, stores the data, or at least talks to the cloud, has a big display, you can interact with it. And there's a lot of smaller, dumber things, like the bracelet that tracks like 3 bits of data, or the microphone clip that collects 4 other bits of data, or the stove top. And then those things actually rely on the smarter devices to tie all this stuff together. And this is the thing that people tend to sort of, I don't want to say forget, but it's hard to remember that technology does not always progress forward. Meaning it's not always going to be bigger screen, faster processor, more bandwidth. In fact, usually it's the opposite. When mobile came around, it was smaller screen, slower processor, less memory, crappier networks. Similarly, with a lot of these wearables, it's even less processor, it's no screen, right? It's even worse network and the like. And so if you're building these products, you keep thinking faster, faster, use more, but in reality, the opposite keeps happening. Things become dumber, simpler, and more focused. And things like, being fast because of bandwidth constraints, or being simple because of all these different touch points, starts to matter more and more. When I look at the Internet of Things, that's the thing that I keep thinking about, is that we live in a world of monolithic giant experiences because they were born in a world of monolithic large screen computers, because that's all we had. Now we're moving to a space where we've got lots of small and smart devices, but our software and our services aren't built like that. They're not built like lots of small, smart interactions. They're built like these monolithic giant things, like the PC. So it'll probably be a long time before we can shed the PC era for the Internet of Things era. But that process is natural, right? It always takes a while to sort of figure out what's new and take advantage of it. Yeah, so advice for UX designers. I find that the best designers I've ever worked with over the years are very good at the top and at the bottom. And what I mean by that is they see the big picture, they understand what they're making and why they're making it, and they can dive into the smallest details. Whether they're like, the timing of an interaction, or is this 2 pixels or 1 pixels, or things like this. Because if you got the top and you've got the bottom, you can sort of push through everything else. The ones that I've seen struggle the most are the ones that sort of live in the middle. They're always in a layer of abstraction where they're not necessarily fully aware of what they're making and why, and they don't go down to the details enough. They're just making boxes and wireframes or things like this, and they sort of lack the context of how is this actually going to play out on the device. So my strong advice would be, don't get stuck in the middle, right? Try and be aware of the big picture and try and be as competent in the details as much as possible. It's not a sign that you're any lesser of a designer if you're down in the weeds. In fact, it's a sign that you can get in there and understand the exact complexity and the important little bits that actually add up to that big holistic picture.